good day, and welcome to the positive power of negative feelings. If you call it the positive power of negative emotions, the positive power of emotions, it's PPE. Yeah, that's an old one, and everybody needs some PPE these days. So, wrapping up this 8-week series, this is the topic of shame. Shame. So what is shame? Shame is when you are embarrassed, when you feel you're not good enough, when you feel rejected, unwanted, when you don't like parts of yourself or all of yourself. So shame is pretty intense. A house divided against itself cannot stand, right? So it's very debilitating when we turn against ourselves, when we feel that we are unworthy of love, where we are not wanted, and it happens in a whole spectrum of intensities, you know. So do you remember an early event when you were picked last, nobody wanted you on their team, when your mother, father were too busy for you? You know, there's abuse, there's outright abuse that happens when we're little, but there's also neglect, and neglect can happen from very seemingly well-adjusted families, when mother or father are very busy and stressed and working a lot and don't have time for you. Yeah. How about rejection from a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a friend, or not being cool at school? So maybe you were one of the beautiful ones and were always picked and everybody wanted to be with you, but then, you know, you weren't immune either from being dumped or dropped or humiliated. You know, I missed this time when, you know, the internet can shame people so terribly that they commit suicide. So shame is a very serious thing. So what's the positive power of this emotion, Guru Mayor? Well, it's a teacher of self-acceptance. So if you're feeling unwanted, unlovable because of something that happened or wherever it came from, then you're not loving yourself. You're not accepting yourself. So now this is a tough one, especially when you're little. If somebody else rejects you and you don't reject yourself. So shame often, maybe always, starts from the outside, from some sort of outside influence. But when we cross the line where we reject ourselves, where we believe it, we accept it, that's when we lose that inner unity of, hey, I'm with you, come thick or thin. But who can do that when you're little and you depend on love and protection from the big people? So if you can remember a time or times when that was very hurtful to you, that's the feeling. When you did something that maybe you felt all right about it, but other people laughed at it. Or even worse, when you felt, no, that was not who I am or what I want to be. So in its conscious form, shame can be a self-correctional tool to see, like, God, I feel bad when I'm that kind of person. And that bad tells me, no, that's not who I really am or who I want to be. So we can use that to correct ourselves. So in my tradition, that's a 5-minute opening the door for shame. And then we're going to do a practice, 11-minute practice to help these ideas, especially the idea of using shame for self-healing, for self-upliftment, can be practiced and experienced directly. Everything that I share with you, I've found either through my own self-investigation or by working with clients. So this is not just some made-up ideas. These are the conclusions of much experience. Yeah? So let's have a game to play. Let's pick something. We don't always just hate ourselves or our whole lives, although that happens, that's an extreme version. Sometimes we just reject parts of ourselves, okay? So do you have, when my white hair started coming in and I was young with brown hair for a long time, wow, that was something not so popular in our culture to be old, so that was a whole challenge to my self-esteem. Wrinkles, fat, body image is a big one for a lot of people. We were laughing about watching, getting a lot of YouTube commercials for men's makeup, cosmetics. And I was like, oh boy, now they found a way to make men feel bad about how they look. It was bags under the eyes, and it was it's weight and hair. Like apparently men need to shave everything now too. And I was like, oh boy, they found another way to shame people, make you feel bad about who you are so they can sell you stuff. And my wife was like, yeah, well, fair's fair. It's about time men were shamed into buying, because it's been happening to women forever. So there you go. What is it that can get you to, sort of want to hide? The original origin of the word shame meant to cover or to uncover, to be exposed, to be uncovered, and then you want to hide, you want to cover. So how can isn't it a goal of yoga and meditation, spirituality, to accept the self and feel that I am part of the universe and I deserve to be here? So it's a really spiritual tool to use shame to see those gaps in your self-love. Okay, so let's do a little experiment here. You with me? We're going to go for 11 minutes. So this one requires a physical posture, and that is sitting on your left heel. Now, if you can't do that, just do it any way you can. I've got a little cushion under here that helps, but the proper posture, we call it hero pose, is that heel is straight up and down right in your perineum area. But there's modifications to that. So I'm on my left heel, right knee is up, and here's the arm position. I'll describe it and then we'll do it. So these flat, straight palms are straight off the ears, 5 to 8 inches. I think I've got that. So it even says, look to your left and see if you're staring straight into your hand to know that that's right at your ear level. And as I said, don't start yet. So do you think you can hold this for 11 minutes? It will become somewhat more difficult than it is at this moment. All right. Now, we're going to breathe in a very, very measured way. Take 4 seconds to inhale. Hold, just pause. No tight squeezing or anything. Just a nice little lock down there in the lower core just to hold you firm for 4 seconds. Take 4 seconds to exhale and leave the breath out, also holding peacefully for 4 seconds. So that's a 16-second loop. And if you've got some sort of music or mantra with 8 or 16 beats, but slow, we want them, 1, 2, 3, like that. Okay, so checking the time, we're going to go 11 minutes, and I'll give you a few more cues. So please join me at home. This is not a spectator sport. I'm here. Looks good. and let's go. Eyes are slightly open or all the way closed, but looking down along the line of your nose towards your nose and the floor. And I'll start counting if you're with me. So exhale, and here we go. Slow inhale. 1, 2, 3. I'm full, and 2, 3, 4. And I exhale. 2, 3, 4. Leave all the breath out. 2, 3, 4. And in. 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. And out. 2, 3, 4. And hold. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And hold. 2, 3, 4. And start your exhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold it out. 2, 3, 4. Now keep going. 2, 3, 4. And out. Hold. 2, 3, 4. And out. 2, 3, 4. And there you go. Holding. 3, 4. So keep that rhythm going. I hope it feels very soothing and hypnotic at this point. It's not a long hold if your lungs are in any kind of shape, and if not, you can build yourself up to this. But a 16-second cycle, that means you're breathing just about 4 times per minute. And that alone will have a pretty beautiful effect on your physiology and your psychology. I've got a clock, I don't know if you can hear it, that ticks 1 second, and it's really nice to let it count for me. This meditation is named Adjusting the Magnetic Field. Adjusting the magnetic field. Okay. So just a few more little bits while you're meditating, if you don't mind. And if you do, just tune me out. So you know you've got an aura, you've got a sort of a sense of your own space and your own dignity and grace. So just imagine, if you're a very visual person, and how you're beautiful, the lines of your magnetic field. You've seen the lines around a magnet drawn to imagine the magnetic field. So you've got a personal space, and when that is shattered, when it's when you're neglected and abused, just imagine it sort of shrinking, diminishing, warping a little bit, getting a little droopy. Right? It's a way of imagining your psyche, your energy, your emotions, your sense of self. So we're charging that up. So as the hands, and you're almost halfway here now, as this gets more difficult to hold your hands up, use that pressure to sort of like brighten your dimmer switch, to feel like that pressure is making you bring more voltage up through your body and through your muscles. So they fire, and there's a lot of electricity going on, and you getting empowered. So that's first, adjusting and expanding your magnetic field, because when you are shamed, when you feel ashamed, there's no question that your field diminishes. And then, you know, people with low self-esteem are much more susceptible to being mistreated. I'm sure you've seen this. We all have a sixth sense, and if you're a bully, you find someone that's easy to bully. So if you've been bullied, then how do you give yourself a shield, a protection? You brighten. So breathe and feel under the pressure of gravity of your arms and the pressure of people's opinions and anything that's ever shamed you, that you're withstanding that you're expanding against it and holding your space. Now, if you can't keep your arms up, don't be ashamed, right? Just do what you can do and come back to try another day. But the effects of this are not based on perfection. They're based on your attempts, your intention. So if your intent is to be yourself, be strong, be beautiful as you define it, then create that under pressure. Still breathing. Right? Come back to 4 seconds is the duration of your inhale. 4 seconds hold. 4 seconds exhale. 4 seconds hold. And I hope by now that in contrast to any pressures remembered psychologically or felt right now physically, are met and withstood by your own power. Good, good, good. Yeah, over halfway, coming down the home stretch. And at some point, it might take you several days to practice this. But it could happen today. You break through struggle and pressure, and you're just bright and shiny and exalted. Exalting yourself. Don't wait for others to praise and exalt you. You got to find your worth deep inside, and it came with your birthright. No less than the trees and the stars. You ever see a beautiful tree, a beautiful plant? Don't they carry just within their own existence, their own dignity, their own worth? Yeah. How do I know you're worthy to be here and worthy of love? Because you're here. Now, I like this posture because shame is about looking at yourself in the mirror or being under the microscope of society. So here are these two mirror spotlights looking right at you. And as you breathe, you just find your intrinsic worth, intrinsic beauty. You shine in the mirror. You may have heard of or done this exercise where you just stand in front of a mirror. You just really focus on your face. Just sit there and see how you feel. See if you can relax and become uncritical and just feel good, feel love. The advanced version is to stand in front of the mirror naked. More body parts to love or complain about. Try it. You're coming down. We've just got about a minute left, okay? So make that breath nice and bold and strong, but maybe by now it's just smooth and easy. Holding. And I'm sure you know if you prefer to use a mantra or any words on a 16 beat, a 4 beat, instead of counting, please do. Now here's how we finish, please. Come together with me and go ahead and exhale all the way. Now inhale deeply. All the way deep and hold. I'll count for you. It's about 30 seconds. Purify, purify, purify. You are pure. Just feel it. And gently relax. Bring your arms down. If you don't want to move, and you can just stay there, or you can come sitting down. Now please take the time to enjoy the space you've created. Is there some polish, some glow, some expansion to yourself and your assessment of yourself, your self-esteem? So simple. I'm not trying to be anything. So I'm not trying to not be anything. I am. And when everything's cleared away from just me and my heart, I am, and it's nice. It's great. But now if we've been neglected, abused, shamed, rejected, it's harder to tap into that intrinsic beauty and worth. But there's meditative work like this you can do. The cognitive work is to, self-love's a big ticket. Start with self-acceptance. Doesn't mean you even like everything about you, but you just start accepting it. Well, that's the way it is. That's a start from rejection. And acceptance is the remedy for rejection. Self-compassion is the next step, is the remedy for, loathing. Well, that's our experience for today, and I hope it's helpful. My name is Guru Mayer, and I teach this kind of thing in little bits like this and in big courses, 8 and 36-week courses. So find me at emotional-liberation.com for my new book, and I can lead you to sensesofthesoul.com. So if you want more training, come back next week. We'll do some more, and always happy to hear from you at sensesofthesoul.com. Next week, we start lessons in self-therapy. So I'll see you then.